it is Gina's baking time. I know. I apologize profusely that I have not been with you guys for a while, and then I did two, and then I wasn't there for a while. But I'm back today. I went through my mom's recipe box again and found some recipes that I really like. So this week I'm going to make spiced coffee cake by Lillian Johnson. And if you've watched my videos, you know who Lillian Johnson is. So the recipe calls for 2 cups of sifted flour, 1 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So the first part, it says combine all the dry ingredients. So that's what I'm going to do. And so it's 2 cups of flour. 2 cups of flour. But this one just says combine. The other one that I'm going to show in another video says sift. But this one just says combine the dry ingredients. So I have 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and I also added the teaspoon of baking powder in this. So that's why I look kind of confused about that. And then it's also a teaspoon of cinnamon, ground cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. I didn't ground it myself this time, I just put it together. And a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And we're just going to blend those. And as I was going through this recipe, I didn't have buttermilk. So I said, Alexa, give me a recipe for buttermilk. And it said to take a cup of regular milk, add a teaspoon of lemon juice, let it sit for 5 minutes, and you're going to have buttermilk. So I thought, oh, okay, well, that saves me a trip to the store. And then it says to add a 1/2 cup of melted shortening. So it's just a stick of butter. I put it in the microwave just for a little bit, and it's done. About 30 seconds, I think I let it go for. And 1 slightly beaten egg. So the buttermilk, the shortening, and the egg go in. I know most recipes have that you are going to mix the wet ingredients like the butter with the sugar, vanilla, and anything else that you have. But this one says to do the dry ingredients first. So, it looks so good. And then there is a topping that goes on it that you put on before you put it in the oven at 375 for 30 to 35 minutes. At 350 to 375. So it is a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, a 1/2 cup of walnuts, which is optional because I'm not going to do the walnuts, a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 2 tablespoons of melted butter. And I have a pan, a greased and floured pan. It just says grease it, but I, for some reason, wanted to flour it too. So I'm going to just clean my beater before I put it in the pan. And I have already put the brown sugar and the cinnamon together. I melted the butter in the microwave. And I packed down the brown sugar. And I'm adding my 2 tablespoons of melted butter. So I'll show you what this looks like in a minute. So all I'm doing is just mixing it together so it can have a crumble on the top. And I was always thinking of coffee cake needed to have coffee, but no coffee in this coffee cake. I'm sure you could add just a little bit for a taste of coffee if you wanted, or even make a coffee icing, which I have seen. And I made some Icelandic brownies that had the coffee in the icing. And oh my goodness, and in the brownies. So, yeah. Strong and dark Icelandic coffee. So here is the mixture of the dough, and I'll just put it in my pan, put it in my oven after I sprinkle on some of the crumble. It got kind of moist, but you know what? That's okay. All right, well, I thank you for watching. As always, I will post a picture. Again, $3.50 to $3.75 for 30 to 35 minutes. And here's the recipe. And if you can't read it, just tell me on Facebook, because I'll put it on YouTube and then I'll put it on Facebook. And then here is the topping that I'm going to crumble on with the cooking instructions. All right, everybody, I thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful and pleasant day, and I will see you soon. Bye.